My cousin showed up to my office and demanded, "Hand me your promotion. You owe me for helping with homework 15 years ago." When I refused, she pulled out a fake email and smirked, "Then I'll just send this to HR and take it anyway." I opened my laptop and laughed, funny, because I just sent something better to the CEO. Growing up in Chicago, my cousin Amanda and I were close. She was a year older and often helped me with homework during high school. Her assistance was invaluable, especially in subjects I found challenging. We spent countless hours at the dining room table, her patiently explaining algebraic formulas or dissecting literature assignments. Our bond was strong, and I was always grateful for her support. After high school, our paths diverged. Amanda pursued a degree in art history at a local college, while I attended a university in another state to study marketing. We kept in touch sporadically, with occasional texts and family gatherings during holidays. Over time, our interactions became less frequent, but I always held fond memories of our shared past. Upon graduating, I returned to Chicago and secured a position at a reputable marketing firm downtown. The company had a vibrant culture and offered ample opportunities for growth. I started as a junior associate, eager to prove myself in the competitive environment. The early days were challenging: long hours, tight deadlines, and the pressure to deliver innovative campaigns. But I was determined and gradually made a name for myself. Over the next 7 years, I dedicated myself to my work. I took on challenging projects, often staying late to ensure every detail was perfect. My efforts didn't go unnoticed. Colleagues began to seek my advice, and supervisors entrusted me with more responsibilities. I spearheaded campaigns that brought in significant revenue and strengthened client relationships. The culmination of this hard work was a recent promotion to senior marketing manager. It was a role I had aspired to, and achieving it felt like a testament to years of perseverance. One crisp autumn afternoon, as the city buzzed with its usual energy, I was in my office, reviewing strategies for an upcoming campaign. The skyline view from my window was a constant reminder of how far I'd come. A knock on the door interrupted my concentration. Looking up, I was surprised to see Amanda standing there. "Amanda, this is unexpected." "Come in," I said, gesturing to the chair opposite my desk. She stepped in, her eyes scanning the office. "Nice place you've got here," she remarked, a hint of something indiscernible in her tone. "Thanks. It's been a journey," I replied, trying to gauge the purpose of her visit. She settled into the chair, crossing her legs and leaning slightly forward. "I heard about your promotion." "Congratulations," she began. "Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work," I responded, still unsure where the conversation was headed. Amanda's expression shifted, becoming more serious. "You know," she started, "back in high school, I spent countless hours helping you with your homework." I nodded, memories of our study sessions flooding back. "Yes, and I've always appreciated that." She leaned in closer, her voice lowering. "I feel like that effort deserves some recognition." I tilted my head, puzzled. "What do you mean?" Amanda took a deep breath. "I want your promotion. You owe me for all those times I helped you. Without me, who knows where you'd be?" I was taken aback. "Amanda, promotions aren't something that can be handed over. I've worked for years to earn this position." Her eyes narrowed. "If you don't make this happen, I'll have to take matters into my own hands." A sense of unease settled over me. "What are you implying?" Amanda reached into her bag and pulled out her phone, tapping the screen a few times before turning it towards me. Displayed was an email, purportedly from me, admitting to falsifying reports and engaging in unethical practices. "Where did you get this?" I demanded. She smirked. "I have my ways. Imagine if this were to reach HR." I took a closer look at the email. The address was eerily similar to mine, but had subtle differences. It was a fabricated account. I met her gaze. "This is a fake. Why are you doing this?" Amanda's expression remained unchanged. "Fake or not, it would raise questions. Questions you might not want to answer." A mix of anger and disbelief coursed through me. "This is blackmail." She shrugged. "Call it what you want. I see it as collecting on a debt." I took a deep breath, trying to steady my emotions. "Amanda, This isn't the way to handle things. If you wanted advice or assistance in your career, you could have just asked. She scoffed. Advice won't get me a corner office. I closed my eyes for a moment, gathering my thoughts. I can't give you my promotion, but I can help you find opportunities that align with your skills. Amanda stared at me like I had just insulted her. Her jaw clenched. She stood up slowly and said, I'm not here for hand-me-downs. I'm here for what I'm owed. She turned and walked to the window, looking out at the skyline like she was in a movie scene. Then she spun around, her voice suddenly louder. You think you're better than me now? Just because you have a nice office and some title on your door? You forget who dragged you through algebra. I stayed seated. I didn't want to escalate things, but my patience was thinning. No one's forgotten anything, I said calmly. But we're not 17 anymore. This is my job. I earned it. She narrowed her eyes. No, you don't get to say that. You got here because of me. I gave up time, I gave up weekends, and now you're just another suit who forgot the people who helped you. Then she did something that caught me off guard. She pulled out a folder from her bag and slid it onto my desk. Inside were printouts. Dozens of them. Emails, project reports, screenshots of Slack messages. My name was on every page. I made a copy of your department's shared drive, she said. You don't even have encryption. You wouldn't believe what I found. I flipped through it quickly, confused. These were real files. Internal memos. Some were harmless, others, not so much. A few documents were part of confidential negotiations I'd led, deals that hadn't even been finalized yet. I looked up. You stole these. I downloaded them. Big difference, she said with a grin. You should really be more careful with your passwords. You broke into the system? She didn't flinch. Let's not pretend your company doesn't sweep things under the rug. I'm just giving them something they forgot to bury. I opened my laptop without saying a word. I wasn't panicking. I'd seen enough office politics to know this wasn't just about me. She didn't want revenge. She wanted leverage. As she watched me type, she said, Go ahead, call security. Or better yet, forward this to your legal team. But know this, I've already scheduled a meeting with HR. If they see these documents and that email, they'll have no choice but act. I kept typing. What if I told you I already sent a full report? Not just to HR. I sent it to the CEO. She froze. You're bluffing. No, I'm not. I turned the screen toward her. There it was, an email chain with my direct report to the CEO, sent an hour ago. I'd flagged Amanda's fake email and warned them of a potential data breach. I'd attached logs, timestamps, and even a screenshot of the false email account that had tried to impersonate me. Her face dropped. You don't have the upper hand here, I said. And if you really downloaded sensitive documents, that's a federal crime. Amanda's confidence started to crack. But then, just like that, she composed herself and said, You think they're going to believe you over me? You're just another corporate face. I'm family. They'll believe I had access because you gave it to me. There was a bead of silence between us. I leaned back, arms crossed. You're forgetting something. My boss's boss is the one who promoted me. The same person who handles all compliance training and system audits. They know I wouldn't leave files exposed. She stepped closer to my desk. Then why do I still feel like I have something you want? I stayed quiet. That's when she smirked and said something I'll never forget. I recorded our conversation. Every word. This little chat, where you admitted to needing my help all those years ago, where you called me your study hero, that's all I need. It'll look like you've been rewarding me off the books for years. That hit differently. You're grasping, I said. Maybe. But maybe I just know how to twist the truth better than you. Then she pulled out her phone and waved it like a weapon. Unless you want this little recording to leak, you'll step down. Or at least make it look like a reorg. Keep your title. Just move to a quieter role. Let me take over. I stared at her, heart racing. This wasn't about jealousy. This was something deeper. Amanda wasn't unhinged, she was calculated. Every move was rehearsed. And for the first time, I realized she might actually get away with it, unless I did something fast. I didn't speak for a full 30 seconds. I stared at the phone in her hand, then at her face. Her eyes weren't angry anymore. They were empty. Amanda had come here prepared. She wasn't guessing or testing the waters. She had a plan. I knew one thing: if I showed fear, she'd run with it. So I kept my voice flat. "Play it." She blinked. "What?" "Play the recording. Let's hear it." Right now. She didn't expect that. Her fingers twitched around the phone, but she didn't move. I leaned in slightly. "You say you recorded everything, right? Play it. Let's both hear what I supposedly admitted." Her lip curled, and she muttered, "You're not going to like how it sounds." "Play it, Amanda." She hesitated, then tapped a few times. A crackly recording came on. I heard my voice, laughing, casual. Then hers, asking about high school. Then me again. "Yeah, I guess I wouldn't have passed that class without you." That was it. That's what she was holding over me. "That's your bombshell?" I asked. "That I admitted to needing help in high school?" Her expression hardened. "It's how it sounds and how I spin it." I smiled. "You're recording me in secret. Presenting stolen documents. Faking emails. You think HR will focus on a clip where I complimented you about math tutoring?" She was silent. I kept going. "You're banking on chaos. But this company doesn't run on chaos. It runs on contracts, logs, legal backup. And you walked in here waving a fake email and stolen files." Amanda's eyes darted toward the door. But I wasn't done. "You know what's really interesting?" I said. "When you came in here, you were already using words like reorg and compliance. That's not normal language for someone with an art history degree who hasn't worked in corporate for a decade." She froze. I leaned forward. "You've been talking to someone." Someone inside. There it was, just a flicker in her eyes. I saw it. Someone had fed her this plan. "Who is it?" I asked. "Someone in my department?" "IT? Who told you where the sensitive files were kept? Who knew exactly how to make it look like an insider case?" She didn't answer. "Because I already pulled access logs," I said, tapping my laptop again. "Last week, we flagged a strange IP that accessed our shared drive from outside the network. And guess what? That IP was traced to a coffee shop in Hyde Park. You know, your neighborhood." She blinked. "You made one mistake, Amanda. You came in here thinking this was about favors from the past. But this," I pointed around the office, "this is a battlefield. And you brought a toy gun." Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then my phone buzzed. It was an email from the CEO's office. I didn't open it. I looked her dead in the eye. "They know everything. The IP, the fake email account, the false recording. And the person helping you from the inside? I'm going to find out who it is." She backed away a step. Her face shifted, panic. But she still had one last move. "You're bluffing. You don't have anything. You're just trying to scare me into walking out." I tilted the screen toward her again. This time, I opened a folder labeled Legal Hold. Inside were internal investigations notes, timestamps of her email activity, screenshots of her logging into the spoof email account from her home Wi-Fi, and more. I had IT involved days ago when the first red flag hit. I had been preparing for this moment. "I already started the audit," I said. "Not just on your activities, but on everyone around me. Someone in this office gave you access. Someone trusted." She was speechless. Then, another voice cut through the room. "Actually, she's not alone." We both turned. My assistant, Dina, was standing in the doorway. She wasn't supposed to be in today. Amanda's face turned white. Dina walked in, her expression cold. "I told you she'd never just roll over," she said to Amanda. "You said she was soft." "She's not." "Dina?" I said, standing up. She raised both hands. "I'm not here to finish anything. I'm here to tell you the truth. I didn't say anything. I waited. I was promised her job," Dina said. "Not by Amanda. By someone higher up. Someone who's been trying to push you out for months. You weren't supposed to get the promotion." My mind raced. Everything started to make sense. The delays in my background check. The strange IT alerts. The VP who suddenly stopped responding to my emails. Amanda looked betrayed. "You said we'd split it." Dina shrugged. They were never going to give it to you. You were just noise. I was the one they wanted. And just like that, everything flipped. This wasn't about old homework. It was a takedown attempt. A planned betrayal. And I was standing in the middle of it. I had the evidence. I had the names. But this just became bigger than Amanda. It was time to take down more than one person. The room was still, but the air felt like it could split in half. Amanda's face twisted as she turned on Dina. You told me she was weak, she hissed. You said it'd be easy. Dina didn't flinch. And you believed it. That's on you. I stood up, finally, hands flat on my desk. Both of you out. Amanda shook her head. You're not going to do anything. HR doesn't care. You'll end up looking like the paranoid one. We've already planted doubt. I didn't answer. I walked over to my office door, opened it wide, and stepped into the hallway. I looked around, spotted one of the senior compliance officers walking past, and waved him over. David, I said calmly, can you please escort these two to the legal department? Tell them they're needed for an investigation. Amanda laughed, but it was shaky. You're bluffing again. David tilted his head. Actually, we've been waiting on them. Dina stepped back. Wait, what? Two security guards appeared from around the corner. Amanda froze. You can't do this, she snapped. I haven't done anything illegal. I stepped back and looked her in the eye. You broke into a company system. You forged a federal record. You blackmailed an employee. You brought stolen data into a secure building. Dina tried to argue too, but David interrupted. We have the logs. You logged into Amanda's cloud account using a company device. We traced the leak to your desktop. Their faces broke. Security escorted them both out, fast and silent. I shut the door behind them, sat back down, and tried to breathe. But I couldn't. Because the truth is, I made mistakes too. I should have seen it coming. I ignored the early signs. I didn't question why Dina asked about my passwords weeks ago. I didn't report the first weird login until it was too late. I even brushed off Amanda's early comments on social media where she joked about stealing my life. That was on me. I let nostalgia cloud my judgment. Still, I didn't stop there. Once they were out of the picture, I went deeper. I sent everything to the CEO, to HR, to the legal team, and most importantly, to a journalist I knew from college who worked for a big outlet downtown. She published a full expose a week later. No names at first, but people figured it out. Especially after Amanda tried to post a long Facebook rant denying it all. It went viral for all the wrong reasons. The company launched a full internal audit. The VP who promised Dina my job? Fired. And publicly. Turns out he'd done this before, targeted rising employees, used others to push them out, and took credit for cleaning up messes. This time, the mess was his. Dina got slapped with a lawsuit for breach of contract, and Amanda? She tried to sue for defamation. Her case got thrown out. Then she tried to launch a blog about workplace justice, but no one followed it. She disappeared online a month later. I didn't walk away clean, though. The stress of it all changed me. I started double-checking every word I wrote. I stopped trusting most people. I moved to a smaller branch of the company in another city just to breathe again. My reputation was fine, but I wasn't. The worst part? I actually meant it when I said I appreciated Amanda's help in high school. I would have helped her if she'd just asked. But instead, she showed up thinking she could rip it all away. She wanted revenge for something that was never stolen from her. And in chasing it, she lost everything. Including me. I still sit at my desk sometimes and remember her standing there with that stupid phone, thinking she had one. Thinking she could play me. She was wrong. I don't lose.